Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would just like to get, if you can raise your hands, if you can confirm that you can see the screen and hear me okay? Okay, I think you don't have that facility, that's not a problem. Let me ask a few of you that are present to see if you can confirm that. Assalamu alaikum, L219. Assalamu alaikum, L219. Try L224. Assalamu alaikum, L224. Can you hear me?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Can you see the screen okay? And is the sound okay? Assalamu alaikum, L224.
Wa alaikum salam.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, that's fine. Jazakallah. Thank you. I'll just check with one or two more. L231. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Can you see the screen okay? And is the sound okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Jazakallah. Thank you very much. Okay, so we are going to start our session with just an opening prayer. So I'm going to select one person to read this opening prayer, and then we'll do a bit of an introduction, and then inshallah we'll start the class. So I'm going to select, I'm going to try L225. L225, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Could you please read this prayer, the first prayer over here?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري.
Perfect, Jazakallah. And could you read the translation as well?
Lord, expand my mind and make my task easy for me.
Okay, Jazakallah. Thank you very much. So just as a very quick introduction to these classes, I believe that you should all be enrolled on the Talimul-Quran course, which is taking place at Beth al-Futul Mosque. And essentially these classes, they are going to be taking place online on a weekly basis. So today is week 1, and inshallah you'll have 7 weeks of online sessions. So they will hopefully be taking place every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. And as I said, today's the first session, 14th of Feb, and they will continue every Wednesday until the 28th of March. So that will be 7 sessions that you'll have in total online. And the way that the sessions will work, just to give you a brief idea of the structure, you will have sent in via email to us the recordings from any of the records from Surah Ibrahim, chapter 14. So in these sessions, we'll be listening to some of those recordings, and we'll also be providing you with some feedback in order to help you understand if there are any places where you need to make improvements. And in addition to that, we are also going to be learning new rules. So we'll try to do 1 new rule a week, so that by the end of the course, you have some additional knowledge in addition to what you're learning already in your course at Beth al-Futul. So inshallah, there'll be an informative 7 weeks for you. They'll hopefully help with your recitation as well. So what we are going to do today is we're going to start off by listening to some of the recordings that you sent in. So I'm just gonna play maybe 2 or 3 because I think they're about 5 minutes long, each of them. So we're going to have a listen to some of them, and collectively we'll have a look at if there are any mistakes that need to be looked at and improved upon. So I'm going to start off with the recording for L219. I'm just going to check. So she is in the classroom. So we are going to listen to hers. And this is from the first ruku of Surah Ibrahim.
أعوذ بالله الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام را. كتاب أنزلناه إليك لتخرج الناس من الظلمات إلى النور بإذن ربهم إلى صراط العزيز الحميد. الله الذي له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وويل للكافرين من عذاب شديد. الذين يستحبون الحياة الدنيا على الآخرة ويصدون عن سبيل الله ويبغونها عوجا أولئك في ضلال بعيد. وما أرسلنا من رسول إلا بلسان وما أرسلنا من رسول إلا بلسان قومه ليبين لهم فيضل الله من يشاء ويهدي من يشاء وهو العزيز الحكيم. ولقد أرسلنا موسى بآياتنا أن أخرج قومك من الظلمات إلى النور وذكرهم بأيام الله إن في ذلك لآيات لكل صبار شكور. وإذ قال موسى لقومه اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ أنجاكم من آل فرعون يسومونكم سوء العذاب ويذبحون أبناءكم ويستحيون نساءكم عظيم.
Okay. So that was the first ruku, which was by L219, who I'm just going to try to find in the list. Okay, L219, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
That was really good recitation, mashallah. Really good application of the rules that you've been learning in the course. So just as a reminder, you've covered the 20 most common errors in tilawat, and mashallah, that recitation is really, really good. There are only some small points which I highlighted. So the first point over here was just with the lam mushaddad in the middle of the word Allah, just to make that as a thick lam. So Allahi. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, I know.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So that one I felt with the lam was a little bit thin, so just a thick lam there. There are a few places where I just highlighted the ayn because I think it could be a bit more prominent. I think in some places you've read it very well, but just keeping the sound consistent. So over here, iwaja, again over here, ba'id, and also over here ni'mata. So generally the recitation was really good. I was really impressed. Articulation of letters was very good. Performing waqf as well in the wherever you paused, you made sure that you did it correctly according to the case, so that was good. Over here the bar I think was just a tiny bit long, so just I'm sure you're aware it's just 1 second on the kasra.
Yes, yes.
Yep. Apart from that, there wasn't really anything. I think over here, it sounded a bit like a shadda had been applied on the dhal, but maybe it's just the way that I heard it. So fayudhillu, and then joining it with Allah. But overall, generally very impressed with the recitation. So mashallah, really good. And I can see that you've got good knowledge of some of the more advanced rules as well. So that was really good to hear. So jazakallah. Do you have any questions at all that you want to ask?
Can I recite Allah and Iwaja again?
Sure, yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah.
Okay, I will try. Okay.
Yeah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله الذي.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, very good.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
ويصدون عن سبيل الله ويبغونها عوجا.
Excellent. That was really good. Yep, that's perfect. Jazakallah. Thank you very much. What I will do now, so that was a really good start that we've made. We'll do another recording. So this time I'm going to take, let's have a look, L232. So let's listen to hers. And it's again is going to be from the first ruku of Surah Ibrahim.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام را. كتاب أنزلناه إليك لتخرج الناس من الظلمات إلى النور بإذن ربهم إلى صراط العزيز الحميد. الله الذي له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وويل للكافرين من عذاب شديد. الذين يستحبون الحياة الدنيا على الآخرة ويصدون عن سبيل الله ويبغونها عوجا أولئك في ضلال بعيد وما أرسلنا من رسول إلا بلسان قومه ليبين لهم فيضل الله من يشاء ويهدي من يشاء وهو العزيز الحكيم ولقد أرسلنا موسى بآياتنا أن أخرج قومك من الظلمات إلى النور وذكرهم بأيام الله إن في ذلك لآيات لكل صبار شكور وإذ قال موسى لقومه اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ أنجاكم من آل فرعون يسومونكم سوء العذاب ويذبحون أبناءكم ويستحيون نساءكم وفي ذلكم بلاء من ربكم عظيم.
Okay, so again, that was another really good recitation. So that was L232, who I'm just going to try and find again. Assalamu alaikum, L232.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam. Yeah, so that was a really good recitation. In relation to
Jazakallah.
the rules that you've covered in the course, I couldn't find anything really that stuck out in terms of mistakes, so that was well recited. The only thing that I really highlighted was just the ha over here and also the ha here, similar to the student that was before you, just making sure that the sounds are consistent. So over here, I think you did a really good ha from the throat. Here was just lacking a little bit. So yastahibbuna al-hayata. So just making sure the sounds are consistent.
Okay.
Also over here as well, where yudhabbihuna, again, ha from the throat. So that was the only real, not a mistake as such, but just a point that I picked up upon. But otherwise, mashallah, really good. So well done on your recitation.
Jazakallah. Can I just try it again?
Yes, sure, that's fine.
So, يستحبون الحياة and ويذبحون
Yeah, ويذبحون.
ويذبحون.
Yeah, brilliant. That's
Okay,
great.
Jazakallah.
Jazakumullah, thank you very much. I think we'll listen to one more and then we'll move on to the rule that we're going to be looking at today. So I think I'm going to take, let's have L220.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام را كتاب أنزلناه إليك لتخرج الناس من الظلمات بإذن ربهم إلى صراط العزيز الحميد الله الذي له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وويل للكافرين من عذاب شديد الذين يستحبون الحياة الدنيا على الآخرة ويصدون عن سبيل الله ويبغونها عوجا أولئك في ضلال بعيد وما أرسلنا من رسول إلا بلسان قومه ليبين لهم فيضل الله من يشاء ويهدي من يشاء وهو العزيز الحكيم ولقد أرسلنا موسى بآياتنا أن أخرج قومك من الظلمات إلى النور وذكرهم بأيام الله إن في ذلك لآيات لكل صبار شكور وإذ قال موسى لقومه اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ أنجاكم من آل فرعون يسومونكم سوء العذاب ويذبحون أبناءكم ويستحيون نساءكم وفي ذلكم بلاء من ربكم عظيم.
So again, that was a really excellent recitation. These were selected at random, so mashallah, the standard that you're already reading at is very high, so I'm pleased to hear that. What I will do is we have L220 who I will unmute. Assalamu alaikum, L220.
Walaikum assalam.
Mashallah, really good recitation. That was really nice to listen to. It may have been in the way that I heard it, but I think maybe the ya madda over here was a little bit too short. So just here being mindful of the timing. Allahilladhi, 2 seconds. The other point over here, if you can just read this word for me, please. Pausing over here.
Man yasha.
So just here, when you're pausing on the hamza, if you can make a bit more of a slight jerking sound, because the hamza will take sukoon. So man yasha, slight jerk on the end.
Can I try again?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Man yasha.
So try to have the sound of the hamza slightly in there when you pause. من يشاء.
من يشاء.
A little, yeah, almost there. Just because even though the Hamza is taking the sukoon, we are slightly going to hear that in the pronunciation when we pause there. The other point over here as well, if you could read this word for me again.
سوء العذاب.
Yeah, that was perfect. I think in the recording, the Hamza sounded a little bit more like an ayn. But that's quite a common thing, that sometimes the Hamza and ayn sound, they can be mixed together, but that's fine. That was perfectly read. Other than that, that was really good recitation. So mashallah, very well done on that. So jazakumullah. Do you have any questions at all?
No, thank you. Jazakallah.
That's fine, jazakumullah. So again, these were selected at random, but all three that were selected, they were very, very good. Inshallah, we will continue to listen to the recordings. We have quite a few sent in from you. If you haven't sent it in, you can do so. I think I've got probably about 19 or 20. So if you haven't yet sent it in, please do so. We'll try to listen to it in this session and collectively mark it. So please do send it in if you haven't already. What we will do is we will move on to the rule for today. So what we're going to be looking at in the next few weeks is taken from lesson number 25 from Talimul-Quran, important rules of tajweed. And there are certain rules here which we think would be beneficial for your own knowledge and would definitely help with your recitation. So obviously these are additional rules to what you've been studying in your course. So the 20 most common errors, the rules regarding waqf, everything which is in your booklet that you received on the course. Obviously all of that has to be mastered in your own time, and this content that we're going to be looking at in the course, this is in addition to what you're supposed to be learning already. So we will cover one rule from this. The rule that we're covering has got 3 parts to it, so we'll see, depending on time, how much we can cover in this session. And inshallah, if there's anything left over, we will continue in the following session next week. So what I will do is, I'll read through the explanation. Some of you will be familiar with this already. For some of you, this will serve as some revision, and for others, it will be completely new. So wherever you're at, just have a read with me, and inshallah, we will go on and we will do some application in Surah Ibrahim again. So the rule that we're looking at today is reading with a thick sound. And the first part of this rule is regarding the 7 letters, which you can see in front of you on the screen here. So just under exercise 25.1, we've got these 7 letters, and the rule states the learner should be taught to pronounce the following 7 letters with a broad and thick sound wherever they appear in the words. Now, in the recitations we heard, I think in almost all of them, they correctly manifested these sounds. But again, if you're unfamiliar with this, that's not a problem. We will go over it and we will apply it practically in our recitation as well. So we have the first letter over here, we have kha. Second, we have sad. Then we have dad. Then we have ghain, ta, qaf, and dha. So we have 7 letters which need to be read in a very thick and broad manner, wherever they appear. So they can be at the start of the word, they can be in the middle, they can be at the end. So the main thing is that whenever you come across them, you manifest them in the way that they should be done, which is in a broad and thick way. So what I will do is I will select a different student this time. Let's have L224. Assalamu alaikum. L224.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you today?
I'm fine.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Good. Are you familiar with this rule? Have you come across this before?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we are supposed to read this in a broad or thick way, if we take the first example, we have kha. How do you think this one would be read? For some reason I can't highlight it. How do you think you might read this?
خالدا.
Excellent. Yeah, so khalidan. So kha is going to be thick and broad. How about in the next example with sad?
صارمين.
So read it without pausing. So reading the fatha at the end.
Okay. صارمين.
Excellent. Yeah. So again, sad is going to be a thick sound. Sarimina. Would you like to try the third example?
Yeah. بالظالمين.
So the dal, it's a bit of a tricky sound to make. It's not
Yeah.
quite za, but it's sort of in the middle. Bidarina.
بالضارين.
Yeah, that was better. Again, because we're joining this with the ra mushaddad, we just want to put some extra stress on that ra mushaddad as well.
Okay. بالظارين.
Yeah, that was better. Okay, Jazakumullah. Does this rule make sense? Is it quite clear that you just have to remember that these are thick letters to be pronounced? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Jazakumullah. Let's have a different person this time. So we'll have L236. Assalamu alaikum, L236. L236, can you hear me? No. Oh, she hasn't been unmuted. Assalamu alaikum, L236.
Yes.
Could you please have a read of the examples which follow? So mixed with ghain, how do you think this would be read if it was in a broad and thick way?
Shall I read now?
Yes, sure.
غافر.
Excellent. Ghafirin, very good. And the next one?
طاب.
Very good.
قارون.
Excellent. And the next one?
طلظا.
Very good. So again, does that rule make sense? Do you have any questions about it?
What's your favorite recording? I want to listen my recording on here.
Which recording, sorry?
Yes,
The one that she sent me.
Ibrahim.
Okay. We will, I've only selected 3 for today just because of the timing, but each week we're going to listen to different ones. So
Oh, alright, that's fine, thank you.
as well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, Jazakallah. As I said, we hopefully should be able to listen to all of them over the coming weeks. So if you haven't had yours today, inshallah, we will cover it. Next, let's have L234. Assalamu alaikum. L234.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Please, could you read the next example here?
خلق.
Yep, and the next one.
صدق.
Excellent. And this one?
ضرب.
Yep.
غفر. طبع.
Yep.
يلقى.
Yep, and the last one?
الظانين.
Excellent. That was really good. Jazakumullah. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
Jazakumullah.
So it's a,
Oh, sorry. Let me unmute you.
yeah, I'm just asking that raw should be a poor sound, it's heavy sound, but it's not including these 7 letters.
It's actually part 3, so they've included it as a separate part. So technically, yes, it is included. If I go down here,
Okay.
yeah, so it's mentioned on the 3rd part. So we will come to it. Yes, you are.
Okay. Okay, Jazakallah.
Jazakumullah. So if we come to the next part of this rule, we will go on to apply this in a moment. But if we cover the explanations first, then we will use Surah Ibrahim for recitation. So we have in the second part of this rule, the learner should be taught to pronounce the lam mushaddad in the word Allah with a thick and broad sound if it precedes the vowel mark of fatha or dhamma. I think that's supposed to say if it is preceded by. So if the word Allah before it, if there is a letter which carries the stroke of fatha or dhamma, then the lam mushaddad which appears in the middle of the word Allah, it will be read as a thick lam. So all other examples of lam mushaddad will be pronounced with a thin sound. So this is very specific only to the word Allah. So you can see the examples here in exercise 25.2. We've got various examples where the word Allah appears in the Holy Quran. So we have, as mentioned according to the rule, we have the word, the lam mushaddad, which is preceded by a fatha. So according to the rule, the way that we manifest the word, the lam mushaddad, is going to be in a very thick manner. So it will be Allahu rather than Allahu, Allahu. The lam in the middle will be thick. In the next example, we have a kasra on the ba coming before the word Allah. So this time, because it is not fatha and it's not a dhamma, this means that the lam mushaddad in the word will be thin. So rather than billahi, it will be billahi. So Allahu, because the fatha precedes the lam mushaddad. Over here, billahi. So it will be a thin lam in the word Allah, billahi. Let's have a few more people read. So if we take L245. Assalamu alaikum, L245. Assalamu alaikum, L245.
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. So according to this rule regarding the word, the lam mushaddad which appears in Allah, can you read this next example for me?
This one?
Yes. Sorry, the highlight is
the fourth one?
Yes, the fourth one here, yeah.
Okay. قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ.
Excellent, very good. So the lam here we can see is going to be thin because the letter before carries the stroke of kasra. Very good. And the next example?
Kitabullahi.
Excellent. So this time, as according to the rule, we have fatha or dhamma. Here the ba is carrying the dhamma, so the lam is thick. Kitabullahi. Excellent. And the next one?
Kulli.
Very good. So this is an example of just a plain lam. And we can see that this is just going to be read in a thin manner. So Jazakumullah, thank you very much.
Jazakallah.
Let's have someone else to read the final line. Let's try L238. Assalamu alaikum, L238. Could you please read the next line for me? Just bearing in mind how to pronounce the lam mushaddad.
Yep. Wallahi.
Excellent. So could you, just for the benefit of everyone else, could you explain why the lam here is going to be thick?
Because there is a fatha on top of the lam.
So on the lam there is vertical fatha, but
yeah, and
sorry, go on, yeah.
Because there is it because of the no, I'm not too sure actually.
Yeah, so according to the rule, if the letter before is carrying a fatha or a dhamma stroke, then this lam in the middle, the lam mushaddad, it's going to be a thick sound. So because ta is carrying a fatha here, it will be tallahi rather than tallahi. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So for the next example, this time the meme is carrying the kasra stroke. So thick or thin for this example here?
Thin, so it would be amillahu.
Excellent, very good. So amillahu, very good. And the next one?
That one will be nurullahu.
Very good, yep. So this time, because the ra is carrying the dhamma, that's going to be a thick lam, nurullahu. And the next one?
Bismillahi.
Excellent. So this is one that we should all be familiar with because it comes so often in our recitation. So the lam mushaddad which occurs in Allah in Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Some people will sometimes read it as Bismillahi, which would be a mistake. So we want to keep the lam here, the lam mushaddad, as a thin. So Bismillahi. Okay. And the next example, please.
Khalaqallahu.
Just read that one more time.
Khalaqallahu.
So just make it a little bit thicker. خلقallahu.
خلقallahu.
Yeah, that's a lot better. And the final example.
كلا.
Excellent. So again, this is going to be a thin lam. Okay, brilliant. Do you have any questions regarding this rule or the previous one that we discussed?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Jazakumullah. Thank you very much. So it's quite straightforward. It's just to remember that we're looking at the stroke which precedes or comes before the lam mushaddad in Allah. So fatha or dhamma stroke on the letter before will be a thick lam, and anything else, the kasra, will be a thin lam. Moving to the final part of that rule, so the explanation says, the learner should be taught to pronounce the ra with a thick and broad sound if it bears the vowel mark of fatha or dhamma. So if the letter ra carries, for example here, it's carrying a dhamma, or I don't think there's an example here, but if it's a fatha or a dhamma stroke on the ra, it will be pronounced in a thick and broad way. Similarly, the same rule will be applied to a quiescent ra if it proceeds with a fatha, dhamma, or an alif, with or without a vowel mark. So this is saying that a ra which carries the sukoon, if it's preceded by a fatha, dhamma, or an alif, then it will also be read in a thick manner. So we will look at some examples. We have some here in exercise 25.3. So if I read the first one, لَيْسَ الْبِرَّ, لَيْسَ الْبِرَّ. So you can see here the ra which is carrying the fatha, it's a thick ra. لَيْسَ الْبِرَّ. And then we have in the next example, مَرُّوا, marru. So that ra, again, because it's carrying a dhamma stroke, it's going to be read in a thick and broad manner. This time, let's see if I can select. So we have L2, 4, 6. Assalamu alaikum. L2, 4, 6. What? Assalamu alaikum. Are you able to come a bit closer to the mic? The sound is quite low.
1 minute. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's fine. So could you please read the next one according to this rule? So we have ra sakin, and the letter before is a fatha stroke on the alif. So how do you think this will be read?
Arsala.
Good. Arsala. So it will be a thick ra. And the next one?
Irji.
Try again one more time.
Irji.
Okay, so just make this I, this has to be for 2 seconds, because if we go back to our 20 common errors, if you remember the timings, we have here a ya madda. So this has to be at least 2 seconds, no more and no less than 2 seconds. So if I just go back, so this will be irji'i, 2 seconds on the I sound. Can you read that one more time?
Irji'i.
Good. So irji'i. So again, ra being thick and broad. In the next example, please.
Mursiluna.
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 Okay, good. And the next one, please. So again, ra is going to be thick. Rabbana.
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 And the final example.
Rubama.
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 Good. Okay, Jazakumullah. Do you have any questions?
Can I recite it again?
Yeah, sure. Would you like to?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Laysal birra.
Laysal birra.
Laysal birra.
Good. And the next one?
Marru.
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 And the next one?
Arsala.
Yep. And the next one?
Irji'i.
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 Good.
Mursiluna.
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 Good.
Rabbana.
Slightly more thick. Rabbana.
Rabbana.
Yeah, and the last one.
Rubama.
Yeah, good. Okay, Jazakumullah. Thank you very much. Let's have one more person to do the final line, and then we'll do a few examples from the surah. Let's have L245. I think I've had her actually. Okay, let's have L241. Assalamu alaikum. L241.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Could you read the line underneath, please, starting with Ar-Rahman?
Yes, okay. Ar-Rahmanu.
Yep.
Al-Hurru.
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 Good.
Khardalin.
Just try to make the kha a bit more prominent. Khardalin.
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 And the next one?
Rabbir ji'una uni.
You can read one more time.
Rabbir ji'uni.
Good. Rabbir ji'uni.
Rabbir ji'uni.
And the next one?
Rafa'a.
Good. Rafa'a.
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 Good. And the last one?
Ya'muru.
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 Good. Okay. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I have two questions. One is regarding the Ra. If there is kasra under the Ra, then still we made the thick sound or thin?
It will be thin, so we are only making it thick when we have the dhamma or the fatha coming beforehand.
Okay. And there is another question for the La, which we use for Allah.
Yeah.
In Durood Sharif, we say Allahumma. So we make their Allah sound is thick or thin?
Yes, it would be a thick sound because the word is preceded by a fatha, so it would be Allahumma.
Okay, because I was a bit confused because it connected with the humma word.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was a bit confused. All right.
Okay. Yeah, so it will be a thick lam. Yeah.
Right. So it's
Okay.
clear now. Thank you very much.
No problem. Jazakumullah. So what we'll do is I've highlighted some words beforehand in Surah Ibrahim, and these are just some examples. This will hopefully be familiar because we've listened to the recordings. These are just some examples which contain those thick and broad letters that you need to manifest in that way. So we will take, we have L245 with their hand raised. L245. Did you want to read or did you have a question?
No, actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there any example with thin ra? Because I'm not sure how we recite the thin ra. Because all the examples were thick ra, fatha or dhamma. So
I can have a look if there's any here, or I can also ask. We have, so for example over here, this would be read as Ilan Nuri. So I think it's like the characteristic of the letter Ra that there is a thickness to it. So even with the kasra, there is still a bit of a thickness to it. But I think it's a bit more prominent when you have the fatha and the dhamma stroke. It's a lot clearer. But even when you're reading the kasra, you can still hear a thickness to it.
Yes. So if there is a sukoon like this mafil ordi, so in sukoon we will we recite it like thick or thin, or
so that would also be thick. So if I just go back
thick
to the
with sukoon.
Yeah, thick with sukoon. So you can see over here. So the same thing will apply if the ra is carrying the sukoon, so the quiescent ra, which is the ra with sukoon or jazm. If it proceeds with a fatha or dhamma or an alif, so if that ra sakin, if before it has a fatha, dhamma or an alif, then again it will be a thick sound. So fil ardi will be a
Ardi.
thick
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Can you read this thin one here? Yeah, yeah, just like this. Can I read
this
this?
one over here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Ilan Nuri.
Okay. Ilan Nuri.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
Okay. And the thin one, Bi'izni Rabbihim.
Thick one, yeah. Bi-izni rabbihim.
Rabbihim. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you notice the difference when I was reciting thick?
There is a slight difference between the kasra and the fatha, yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Jazakallah.
No problem, Jazakallah. I will just ask if the head teacher, if he wants to clarify any point regarding the ra. See if I can unmute. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Hafsa, did you want to clarify any point regarding the ra, or is that okay regarding the thickness and thinness of it?
No, mashallah, jazakumullah. They are learning very well and you are teaching very well. Only the point with regards to a thin ra, I would say that, for example, like a nuri. Now, in order to make any letter thin, you have to flat in a smiling mode, like a flat your mouth, okay, not in a normal position, because if we say in a normal position like Rabbana, ra, like in English R-A-W, raw material like that, and if there is a, for example, re, like English word, or there we have to make our mouth little bit smiling mode and flat. So, for example, if they say an-nuri, I would say an-nuri. You know, you are flattening. And when you are flattening, then you are making that letter or any letter thin. So in this case, I would say that Suratul Qamar is a good for this exercise. Okay, Suratul Qamar, which is chapter 54. And all, especially at the end of each verse, you will find some example of ra. So all participants, they should try to revise that chapter 54, especially with ra. And whenever there is a ra with kasra, then they would be, as they are showing their, teeth, not like, I would say that flattening as your right and left cheek are little bit relaxed. So in this way, you will be thinning a letter.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, Jazakallah. Okay, so in the example here, it would be then Ilan Nuri. So having like a smiling face with the pronunciation of the ra with kasra. Let's have some more members to recite. So if I have L231. Assalamu alaikum, L231.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Would you like to have a go at reading some of the highlighted words?
Yes.
Okay.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Az-zulumati.
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 Brilliant, yeah. Then we have here ra with fatha.
Rabbihim.
Excellent, yeah.
Siratil Aziz. Siratil.
Yeah, good. Sirat al-Aziz al-Hamid, yeah, that was fine. And this one over here, so this time we have the ra with a schoon, ra sakin. And as we mentioned, it is preceded by a letter which carries the fatha stroke. So even in this case, the ra would be thick.
Fil ard.
Yeah, so ma fil ardi. Yeah, fil ard, that's fine. And over here, so we have another example of the ra with a fatha.
على الآخرة. على الآخرة.
Yeah, that's fine. على الآخرة. Just make the ra a little bit thicker when you read it. One more time.
على الآخرة.
Excellent, very good. That's fine. Jazakumullah. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah.
We have also, there are a few people that have come with their personal names. If you can just rename yourself as your ID, so you can see the majority have got L and then 3 digits after that. So inshallah, in the next lesson, I will pick those of you that have the correct ID. Because this is the first session, we will be lenient, but for future classes, if you can just keep only your ID in your screen name, because we don't need personal names. So I will ask this time Hania. Assalamu alaikum, Hania.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Do you know what your ID number is for yourself?
I think it's L223.
Okay, that's fine. If you hover over your own name, you should be able to click more and then rename, so you can just put your ID number there. Okay, so if you, I don't know if I muted you by accident, but if any of you have got your personal names, if you just put your ID number there, you can rename yourself. Okay, Hania, would you like to read some examples? Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so if you read this one here. So bearing in mind the sad here is going to be a thick.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يصدون
Yeah, good. يصدون.
يصدون
Yeah. And the next one, so we have ضال here next.
ضلال
ضلال بعيد.
ضلال بعيد.
Yeah, good. So this time we have the ra sakin, which is going to be thick, and also we have the ra with the fatha here. So if you can read up to the lam here.
وما أرسلنا من رسول.
Excellent, yeah. So this is part of your 20 common errors lesson, where this is complete assimilation because the noon sakin is blended completely into the ra mushaddad. So mir rasulin, that's fine. We have over here example of qaf, which again is a thick letter.
قومه.
Yep. And again we have dha.
فيذل.
Just make the ya a little bit shorter because it's just a dhamma. فيضل.
فيذل.
Yep. And the next one.
أرسلنا.
And the final one there.
من الظلمات.
Excellent, that's fine. Do you have any questions at all?
No.
Jazakumullah, thank you very much. We have also Khawla and Basim, I think. We can try them. Assalamu alaikum. Do we have Khawla with us?
Yeah, I don't know. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I don't know why we use the ID numbers. I don't know why you have names. Because we
Yeah,
have.
I did. So you've got it in your screen name because it's showing up as your name on here. I'm not sure why.
And my daughter and I were given one ID number. My number is L226 and her number is the same.
Okay, all right. What I'll do is I will double check the participants list, and if there's any changes, I will let you know via email what the issue is with the number.
Okay.
Okay. So would you like to very quickly have a read of a couple of words? So we have the first one here. Sad here is going to be thick.
Swabbarin.
Yeah, very good. So sabbarin. So this is alif madda, so 2 seconds. Do you want to have a go at this one here? Ra sakin again is going to be thick.
Sorry, 1 minute. Kafartum.
Good. So just make it a little bit thicker. Kafartum.
Kafartum.
Excellent, very good. And then we have over here, the qaf is going to be thick.
Qablikum.
That's fine. Jazakumullah. Thank you very much. So it is 8 o'clock at the moment, so we will conclude. I'll just very quickly read through our final prayer, and inshallah we'll continue with our lessons in next week on Wednesday. So, Allahumma arhamni bil Quran al-Azim, waj'alhu li imaman wa nuran wa hudan wa rahmah. O Allah, have mercy on me through the great Quran, and make it for me the leader, the light, the guidance, and the mercy. So, Jazakumullah everyone for attending, and inshallah see you in next week's lesson. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.